Do you guys have favorite dinosaurs?
Yeah.
What are they?
Mine is Triceratops and Spinosaurus.
Spinosaurus?
Mine's Ankylosaurus and T-Rex and Velociraptor.
Nice. Yes, those are all great dinosaurs.
Elasmosaurus?
And you like Elasmosaurus?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
That one's cool. We have some Plesiosaurs
I
in
have
our
a book
arena.
that has the sign of Elasmosaurus and a button of it. If you press the Elasmosaurus button, it makes the Elasmosaurus sound and a splash.
Nice, yeah, because they were water.
And the camera.
My favorite is Velociraptor since it's fast and ambitious.
So I'm going to tell you guys about a lot of those dinosaurs, okay? But before we do that,
Ryan,
guys,
you want pay attention to
while I'm
Sophia?
talking, all right, just, yeah, if you raise your hand if you have a question, please, and I will try to answer as many questions as you have. And, yeah, just pay attention to what I'm discussing here. I promise we'll get to everything in here. What is up?
So, what's the dinosaur that has that thing on the back?
Stegosaurus?
We will see it.
No,
we will
no.
see. When the time comes, we'll see.
We'll talk
First,
about the
pay
dinosaurs in
attention to
just a
Sophia.
moment, but real quickly, look at these globes here. These globes are representative of what the Earth looked like when the dinosaurs were alive. So here is 255 million years ago, at the end of the Permian, beginning of the Triassic. So dinosaurs aren't quite around yet, but their ancestors are walking around on Pangea, and it's all the continents squished together. And over time, it breaks up. You see how it splits in half?
Due to the water pressure?
Not just the water, due to the plates of the Earth
you
moving,
mean the
plate
lava?
tectonics.
Oh, you mean the lava?
Yeah,
makes
lava.
them dead?
Like lava's part of it. Lava occurs when plates move apart. But yeah, so there's the Jurassic, splits apart, and through the Cretaceous here, breaks apart even more. And so most of our dinosaurs are from the late Cretaceous, so this final globe here. So late Cretaceous of North America, so we have T-Rex, we have raptors, Triceratops, we got the duckbills, and dinosaurs like that. The Pachycephalosaurus, and we do have a lot of ocean animals. And those ocean animals, let's see, is this globe spin? I can't remember. Oh, it doesn't spin all the way. We'll wait for it to come around. And I'll show you, our ocean animals are actually from Kansas, so east of here, which is on land. So how would you find ocean animals there?
But you find them in the ocean. You would find them like near the shore.
It's a good guess. What if I told you, you see how these continents are covered with water during the Cretaceous? So if they're covered with water, you'll find ocean animals, they'll live there, right? But then as the water goes away, their fossils will be left behind. So we'll find fish fossils in Kansas today. So, last thing. You see that big red dot up there? Yeah. That is a big crater, a big hole in the ground. So a meteor came hurtling at the Earth 65 million years ago and hit the Earth super hard. And that's when we then killed off the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Or maybe
someone
someone
came
climate
out and killed them.
And it would have caused a lot of volcanoes to erupt, and lava and ash and dust all over the place. Would have made it really hard to breathe, and it would have prevented the sunlight from coming
And
through.
then for a few days to make them into gold.
Okay. More time than a few days. Think a couple hundred years for these animals to die out. But that's why dinosaurs are extinct.
You,
Is that
this is Sophia?
All right, are you guys ready to move on?
Yeah.
Or do you have a question?
What happens if the meteor didn't hit?
Then we would not be here. Dinosaur would have eaten us.
Things would have gone a lot differently. Dinosaurs probably would have continued to evolve. And we would see a lot of different animals would have shown
So
up.
that globe spin fast.
Yeah, it's because I tried to hold this one. It'll go back to normal. Are you guys ready to move on to the next
Yes.
exhibit?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, then let's go over here. And we're gonna look at this map right here.
So dinosaurs eat other dinosaurs.
So this is a map of Colorado. It's the state we're in. So there's Colorado Springs, and we are right here where that star is. Yeah. And so these dots here that you'll see on the map show us what kind of fossils we find. So the green dots are where we are still finding dinosaur fossils today. So every summer in our laboratory, our Paleo Techs, along with our paleontologists, go out and look for dinosaurs, and they find something every summer.
Yeah.
The red dots up here, like usually with big cities, are where we found really, really important dinosaurs. Like the first Stegosaurus ever was found in Morrison.
What about T-Rex? First T-Rex.
Denver, in Colorado. Yeah. So just south of here. Kind of around, well, around that area. That was where the first T-Rex specimen was ever discovered.
Was there any like crossbreed?
No, they couldn't. No. And then these orange dots here are where we find ocean fossils, or fossils that are not dinosaurs.
Like you said, reptiles.
Like reptiles, yeah, or fish. Yeah, orange. They've got a little Sharpie dot on them, so you can tell them apart from the red ones. See that? They kind of look the same, so that's why we put the little dot there. All right, ready to move on, or do you have a question?
Okay, so dinosaurs eat other dinosaurs.
They do. The meat-eating dinosaurs eat other dinosaurs.
I see a fossil in banana.
He is more interested in the animals.
That's okay. Well, do you guys want something you can hold? I can let you hold something here. Excuse me. Here. And I'm going to pick this up. And here, can you take one little step back, you guys? Take a step back. Thank you. So this is what we call a field jacket. And it's what we use to bring fossils from the field or outside back into our lab. It's kind of like a cast for a broken bone. It keeps it safe and secure while we're moving it from place to place. So here, this is an original fossil. Now, please do not touch this one. But do you see how cracked it is? It has a tree root growing through it. It's kind of crumbling. If we tried to pick this up without the field jacket, it would crumble to dust. So that's why we use these, to bring them back. Because when we find fossils, they aren't just like bones where you can pick them up and they stay in one piece, right?
Like that.
What's that? That's an Oviraptor. We'll get to that guy. There's his cooler cousin is in the atrium over there. But this right here is an empty field jacket if you guys would like to hold it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit heavy.
It's a little heavy.
Like
Yeah, take turns. Take turns.
Easy, easy.
Yeah.
So it's not that heavy.
Yeah, it's not super heavy. Once you put the fossil in there, though, that's really heavy. All right, you ready to talk about dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about this guy first, right above me. And I'm going to use him to tell you guys what makes something a dinosaur versus any other animal. So let me ask you guys a question first. Do you think these are dinosaurs, or do you think there's something else?
Crocodile.
Exactly. Yep, they're crocodiles. They're not dinosaurs. So dinosaurs, there's 3 things on an animal's body that make it a dinosaur. 3 main things.
You found a dinosaur.
So the first thing is going to be the neck. You see Dakota Raptor's neck up there? It's kind of curved, right? It looks almost like an S, the letter S.
You found that dinosaur.
And then look at these crocodiles here. They have pretty straight necks where they move side to side, not up and down. So dinosaurs all have curved necks. Dinosaurs also,
I know the second thing.
what is it?
It's that they're slashers.
Not all dinosaurs have those. Look at this dinosaur over there. He doesn't have any claws. Look at this foot. He doesn't have a slasher. He doesn't have a big claw. But he's still a dinosaur. Let me tell you the other thing. Right? Their arms and legs are directly underneath their bodies, not out to the sides like the lizards. Look at these guys. See, their arms and legs are on the sides. So they're not
I even found a head of a crocodile.
Yep, please don't touch that window.
I could play that without fish.
I know, I'm just letting you know, be careful. But that is another crocodile skull. And the last thing is that all dinosaurs have really long tails. None of them have super tiny tails.
Like this one.
They do have long tails. But
It doesn't
because
have
their
long
legs are on the sides and their necks are straight,
And
they're not dinosaurs.
The dinosaur that has here has a long neck.
Yes, he does. Do you want to learn more about this dinosaur real quick? This is Dakota Raptor.
Yui, what is that dinosaur?
This is Dakota Raptor. He's the biggest raptor ever discovered. He's 7 times bigger than Velociraptor.
Come on.
Do you know how big Velociraptor is? Show me with your hand how tall. And he's taller than you?
No, he's like about my height.
About your height?
Yeah.
About that tall.
That must be a baby.
No, Velociraptors are really tiny raptor.
Yeah.
But because you see in the movies they're really big, you don't think of them as big small. But Velociraptors are really tiny. Because someone pulled it off because they touched the legs. So that's why we don't touch it.
Wait,
But this guy is more like what the raptors that you see in the movies. This is Dakota Raptor. He's really big.
So
What's that?
these two
So,
Raptors that are
That's Terminoneris. That's a crocodile from Canada that lived in the late Cretaceous.
I
He
could
was 20
ditch
feet
this
long.
without taking off it.
Yes, but please don't.
Is he like
Thank
extinct
you.
or is he like
He's
very
extinct. His species is extinct. Now, some crocodiles do live today, like his descendants, but this exact one does not.
What about that dinosaur?
Oh, that's a mammal up there. That's actually not a dinosaur. That is more of like an otter. That's Didelphodon. So that is as big as mammals got when the dinosaurs were alive. Because if they got any bigger, dinosaurs would.
And that never laid eggs.
Nope. Mammals give live birth. Exactly. And they have warm blood instead of cold blood like reptiles. Most reptiles. Some reptiles are warm-blooded, like birds.
So are dinosaurs reptiles?
No.
So they are cold-blooded?
We think that the meat-eating dinosaurs would have been likely warm-blooded like birds. Because they would have been very similar to birds. Their brains look very similar, just looking at their brain case and their skull. And then these guys, especially the raptors, had feathers all over. Really fluffy feathers. Yeah.
Are these
Exactly.
Are these
Yes, they are connected to the mammal.
But those like
big this one is?
yeah.
If it had skin and bones everywhere,
It
it'd
would
be
be
like
really big.
twice the times bigger.
Same thing with the claws here. So if you look at dinosaur claws, what you see here is just the base of the claw. So do you know what keratin is?
Yeah, it's the stuff. It's like this stuff.
Your fingernail, right?
Yeah.
But it also makes up birds' beaks.
Yeah.
And so it can be really, really tough and really sharp. Dinosaurs would have had keratin covering their claws, making them even longer and really, really sharp. And these raptors, they kept that killing claw with the big sickle toe. They would have held that up off the ground and they wouldn't have let it touch the ground.
Or else it will like.
Or else it wouldn't be dull. It wouldn't stay sharp.
Yeah.
So while these claws would get more dull, this one would stay really, really sharp. It's kind of scary, right?
Oh.
But
and
it's
these
cool.
two Raptors, whose tails are reaching each other.
Well, this is not a Dakota Raptor. This is our next dinosaur. He's an Edmontosaurus. Exactly, yeah. He's a duckbill. Now look at his teeth. Do you think he's a meat eater or a plant eater?
Plant eater.
Plant eater. Yep, he has flat teeth. Meat eaters have really sharp teeth. But yeah, look, if you...
But T-Rex are meat eaters.
T-Rex is a meat eater, yep. But this guy, we nicknamed him Little John because he's just a kid. He's about half the size of his parents. So full-grown Edmontosaurus get as big as T-Rex.
I see a T-Rex.
He's just a
I see
baby.
a Pterodactyl.
Yeah, Pterosaurs. We got lots of Pterosaurs in here.
This is small.
That's Pterodaustro. Yep, that's a little one. Here's Pteranodon. That's a girl. And you see the one perched up there? There, come back here. Come back here. You see the one perched with the big crest on his head? No, the big one. See him up
This
there?
one?
See his skull? Yeah, that one.
That one? That one?
That's a Pteranodon. That's the boy, and that's the girl. They're both adults.
What about like on the other corner? How about that one?
Pterosaurs?
How about that one?
Pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl. So pterodactyl is actually a made-up name. It doesn't actually mean anything scientific. So we use the word pterosaur
What's that one?
instead.
That one's a pterodactyl.
Have you found like any like pterodactyl bones?
Yeah, these pterosaurs. Yeah.
All of these are pterodactyl family. Pterosaurus family.
Yes, pterosaurs are actually not dinosaurs. They're flying reptiles. Exactly. Yeah. Yep, they're flying reptiles. So it's just like the word dinosaur can describe a bunch of different animals. The word pterosaur can describe a bunch of different flying reptiles. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you've got Pteranodon, Nyctosaurus, Pterodaustro, Dimorphodon. Pterodaustro is this one. Yeah, he's got filter feeding teeth for stuff like shrimp,
Like
like a flamingo.
yeah.
So he might have been pink.
No.
Well, that's why flamingos are pink, because they eat shrimp. So if this guy's eating shrimp, who knows?
What color will it be?
It's because of water.
What color will it be?
I'm thinking about a bluish scape.
And that's the cool thing about these extinct animals is we have no idea what color most of them were. So you can imagine whatever color you want, and no one can say you're wrong. Yeah, maybe. I like to think he's pink, but that's just me.
I like to think all of them are like gray.
They probably were very muted colors for camouflage, because that's what we see in animals
I
today.
think all dinosaurs and flying reptiles are all golden colors.
That would be cool. That'd be beautiful. Well, back to this dinosaur real quick. A couple other things about Little John here. If you stick your head right under here like this and you look up at his mouth and his teeth, do you see how they're stacked on top of each other?
Yeah.
That's what we call a battery of teeth. And so, you know how sharks lose their teeth because they have rows?
Yeah.
And they never run out of teeth because they just keep growing? Little John did the same thing, except they're stacked on top of each other instead of behind each other. So looking at his teeth, they're all really small. Do you want to take a guess as to how many teeth he would have had when he was alive?
105.
More than that.
200.
More.
300.
More.
400. 100.
More. More than 400. More than
1000.
Closer to 900.
Oh. So I was thinking about 895.
Sure, yeah.
That was
About 900 teeth, give or take a couple extra or missing a few. And then his parents would have had about 2,000.
2,000. That's a lot.
Dinosaur Rex Skull.
What do you think?
Dinosaur.
Would use a dinosaur?
Reptile.
He's a pterosaur, yeah.
Yeah.
This is Cycnoramphus. He's a very weird-looking pterosaur. This guy lived in the Jurassic period of Germany and
Oh,
France.
you mean this one?
No, this guy. That's a pterosaur.
Look at its weird shape.
Exactly. And that we don't know a lot about this one. All we know is he had a funny-shaped beak. That's probably because he used it somehow to open up shelled animals, to crack open their shell. And he's a very weird-looking pterosaur.
But if it closes, like it will be like mismatched.
Yeah. Probably have we have birds with beaks like that today.
What is this one?
These are our long-necked dinosaurs, or our bits and pieces of them, because they're so big we can't fit them in here. So here we have a Brontosaurus skull, a Brachiosaurus skull.
This one looks scary.
Why does he look scary?
The face, the eyes.
You think those are the eyes?
No, nose.
Yeah, it's the nose. Good catch. Yeah, his eyes would be on the sides of his head. Yeah, you got it. But his teeth do look weird, right?
Yeah.
He has sharp teeth, but he's a plant eater.
Maybe because of the leaves he's eating.
Or because of the way he's eating. So Little John had a lot of teeth because he was chewing his food. This guy has no flat teeth because he wasn't chewing his food.
He was swallowing.
Exactly. Go up to the tops of trees, use those teeth like a rake or a comb. Scrape the leaves up. Exactly.
And chop them and then swallow them without chewing.
Wait, can we touch this?
Yes, you can touch that. That's a copy of a Camarasaurus skull. Camarasaurus is a small, long-necked dinosaur. Here's an arm and shoulder to one. And they got about 60 feet long.
Oh, that's bigger than five of my family cars.
Yep. In which it's surprising that's considered a small sauropod. They're considered to be small compared to Brachiosaurus. This animal could get up to 80 feet long.
Oh, that's bigger than
Exactly, and that's why we can't fit it in here. And then Brontosaurus could get around 7 feet.
That's why it's gonna play.
Yeah, that's why we only have some pieces on here. So we can still show you. We just don't have the space. We'd have to take out some other dinosaurs, and
All dinosaurs.
we like the other dinosaurs. Yes. Yep. But this is what the skull looks like of Camarasaurus before we put it back together or we restore it. So it's all crushed and messed up, but you can still find some distinct pieces. Like, look at these over here. Here, take a step back. You see these? Toes? Or do they look like teeth? So you've got the teeth, you've got the front of the skull, you got that right here, and then the back of the skull, you got a little kind of knob. It's kind of hidden there. You can see right there, see the little ball right here? That's where the skull would have connected to the neck, so we can move his skull around.
Is this a little
Just
Yeah.
like
Like
that.
your
Just like
shoulder.
this.
Yeah,
Just like the ball
Is
pin.
this a little
that's where the neck would meet with the skull. And then this big bone here, what kind of bone do you think that is? Where in the body?
under the leg.
You think it's a leg
Thigh,
bone?
thigh.
You think it's a femur?
Yeah.
That's a really good guess. What if I told you
It's
it's
like
a humerus.
Oh,
The
wait.
upper
It's like
arm
it's
bone.
leg.
Yeah, it looks more like an arm.
It's the upper
leg
arm
and
bone from a
it's-
really big long neck dinosaur that we don't actually know what it is. Now the sign gives it a name, but that's because that sign is pretty old. So recently, this bone doesn't have a name anymore because it's the only bone of the entire animal that we found. And so it's kind of silly to give it a whole new name off of one arm bone, right? Doesn't make a lot of sense.
But if we have like this block right here, right, to move our arm. But so that means that it must have had stiff arms.
It would have had stiff arms, yeah, because their arms are like pillars to support their weight. So you think elephants, really, really heavy animals, they have pillar-like feet, like this Brachiosaurus hand here, because that supports their weight and keeps them upright. So smaller dinosaurs have feet that are more flexible, so they can move quicker, and so they can be more agile. These guys don't need to move very fast because they're so big, but they do need to support their weight.
But if I compare this bone to a T-Rex head, this will be bigger than that.
That's a 9-foot humerus. That's the same kind of bone as the humerus right there on Camarasaurus. So this is a really big long neck. And these really big long necks are typically only found in South America and Africa. And they're called the Titanosaurs and the Seismosaurs. And they can get up to 150 feet.
Big.
That's more than 3 times. That's almost 4 times the length of our T-Rex right there. It's a really big animal. Yeah.
You mean that one or that one?
That one.
Oh, this must have been a female, right?
Exactly.
You cannot tell anything about this.
All right. So,
You eat.
no, it's okay. We'll move this way. Guys, we have a hands-on station here. Do you want to come here and touch these? What do you think these are?
Toes of a Brachiosaurus?
Toes? Really?
No, wait. Huh?
You think they're part of a dinosaur's body?
Yeah, body.
Well,
It's
what do birds lay?
bird lay eggs. Eggs.
Yeah, these are dinosaur eggs. And these are a cast of some dinosaur eggs because dinosaur eggs are very, very rare and they're very special. So we don't want to put the actual ones out here, so we make exact replicas so they look and feel exactly like the real eggs, but the real eggs are somewhere being studied right now. So we're probably pretty far away. But these are what dinosaur egg looks like specifically meat-eating dinosaurs. So
That's a very
plant-eating
small
dinosaurs.
egg for that big animal.
Well, these, remember that Oviraptor head way over there by the map?
Yeah.
These are the eggs to that animal. The super tiny skull over there? Yeah. So they did lay pretty big eggs. But what these nests tell us is that they laid their eggs all at once. Instead of laying an egg one day, laying 2 another day, because they're arranged in this circular pattern, that means that they laid them all at once.
Did someone take
Like
egg off?
No,
I have
that
a
got crushed.
question. I'm questioning about like how if they're being studied, do the eggs hatch?
No, because they're fossilized now.
Oh,
Yeah, they can't hatch. In the same way that these animals can't come alive because they've been dead.
But they're really robotic. I would like that. That would
Well,
be
we can
cool.
study our birds, the descendants of dinosaurs, and we can compare how bird eggs are similar or different to these ones. And so that's what we use them for. So we understand how dinosaurs grew, how they hatched, how they grew up to be adults, all that stuff.
Pay attention to Sophia, please.
But yeah, these are from an Oviraptor. So, And Oviraptors, when we first found them, we thought they were stealing these eggs from other dinosaurs and eating them because we found them with the eggs. But it was only until about the 1990s that we figured out that Oviraptor wasn't stealing these eggs. These were Oviraptor's own eggs. They were just sitting on them like birds sit on their eggs today. Isn't that silly? Like, we thought that they were eating these eggs, but they were just their own eggs. But do you want to see our Oviraptors? Get here. Yeah, Dilophosaurus has 2 front. This guy has 1. And Dilophosaurus lived way before this guy. This is Anzu Wiley. He's a North American Oviraptor. He's really, really big. Now, if you look up at his mouth, what's he missing? Teeth. He's missing teeth, right? He has a beak like a bird.
Yeah.
So what do you think he ate? If he's missing teeth, how do you tell what this dinosaur was eating?
Plant eater.
Why do you think that?
Because if no teeth means,
He can't cut up meat.
yeah, he can't cut up meat. He can't like bite the bones.
That's a good
He
reason.
cannot
Yeah.
even eat it.
He had to eat something. So when a dinosaur doesn't have any teeth, you have to look at the rest of its body to tell what it was eating. So look at his claws. Look at these over here. These look like plant eater claws or meat eater claws.
Meat eater.
So this guy was a meat eater. He just had to use his claws, kind of like knives, to cut up his food, and then he could eat it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he swallows?
Yep. You just have to cut them up into pretty small pieces.
Yeah, and then he has to swallow it.
Yep.
Like the eagles.
Yeah. Or like a cassowary bird. That's a bird that's alive today. And we have this picture here of this bird just to show that this guy might have looked like the cassowary bird does today. Because he would have had feathers all over his body. He has that crest on top of his head, and he has a beak like a bird.
Yeah, but what about this part?
I'm not sure. We don't know because that's all flesh.
did not
That's not bone, so it doesn't fossilize.
He does not have this part.
Well, we don't know that. Maybe he did. It just wouldn't have preserved because only bones really show up. Sometimes we can get feathers, but very, very rare.
Yeah, the Triceratops are meat eaters, right?
No,
the plant eaters.
Look at his teeth.
This sharp.
Oh, please don't touch that one.
When
No, you're not in trouble. Just don't touch it. If it's behind this.
This is plant eater.
He is a plant eater, yeah, but he also has a beak.
Yeah, like a bird.
But he'd use that to bite off ferns and really soft plants, and then he'd chew that in the back. But yeah, this is Taurosaurus. Very close.
Both have one track.
But this is Taurosaurus, a very close relative of Triceratops. This is like Triceratops' bigger cousin. This is the biggest in that family of ceratopsians. And so this one's nickname is Nicole. And the main difference between her and Triceratops, besides her being bigger, is you see those two holes in her frill up there? Those are called fenestrae. And they're only holes in the skull that make the skull lighter. So if there's no bone there, her skull isn't as heavy, so she can hold her head up easier. And they'd be covered with skin when she was alive, so you wouldn't see those holes. But they would still be there, just to keep her head really lightweight. Or more lightweight than it would have been.
What happened to isn't this supposed to be like a little bigger?
Remember what I said about dinosaur claws and how they're longer because of keratin?
Yeah.
The same thing is true with horns.
Yeah.
So yeah, the nose horn would come out here because it would have been made out of keratin. But the keratin doesn't fossilize or preserve.
So this part is bone.
So that's just the nut of the horn. Same thing with these ones, but really sharp.
So do not touch them.
No.
No. Well, you don't want to learn about this guy?
Let me see what this guy is. Tyrannosaurus.
Now look at his body. So this dinosaur is very, very controversial among scientists because some scientists think it's a dinosaur called Nanotyrannus. Other scientists, however, think it's a baby T-Rex. And no one can really decide on exactly what it is. Now, most scientists think it's a juvenile T-Rex, but there's still some that say, well, there's minor differences between this one and T-Rex, so it could be an entirely different species. But we don't exactly know. What's that?
So
Maybe they got evolved, right?
they have sharp claws, so they can cut meat into pieces.
But they still have really tiny arms.
So, but they have what about this part? This part.
The piece of the hip, that's called the pubis. So you see the tail here? So the tail would have had muscles alongside it in life. And the muscles would have attached to this bone, and also to that one, and then it would have gone connected to the stomach. So it's like an anchor for the stomach. It just keeps all the muscles, it's connected to each other.
Like I'm thinking that the muscles that connected this were keratin, so they didn't fossilize.
They weren't keratin, but they didn't fossilize. Yeah.
Even see
Meat.
Keratin only appears pretty much
Meat
outside.
doesn't fossilize, right, Ryan?
what? Is he a
Meat.
dinosaur here? Meat doesn't
Nope.
fossilize.
Protein doesn't fossilize.
Meat,
So
yeah.
it's probably
Hair, yeah.
probably protein, right? Pure protein.
And this,
Yeah.
and do you see the stripes on here?
Mhm.
It has a small head.
That one has a really tiny head, yeah. That's Struthiomimus. That's a really fast dinosaur.
How about the one that has that curved thing on the back of
Anzu?
his head?
What about Anzu?
It does not have that curved thing on the back of his head. It's just a long there.
What else do you want to know about in here?
What is this one?
This one, well, I'm going to ask you a question. Is this a dinosaur or a different kind of reptile?
Reptile. Yeah, it's a dinosaur. I know what it is. It's a stegosaurus. No, not stegosaurus.
How the
Just
next should be.
dinosaur or other kind of reptile? Let's narrow it down to that. Dinosaur or something else?
There's even lines on.
How should a dinosaur snake be?
It has lines
Dinosaur
on its
snake?
eye.
Hmm.
Wait, what was the snake again?
S shape.
S shape. It's a neck. So this is a whole new species.
It's a different reptile.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's alligator because of its sharp teeth and it walks on all fours.
It looks like an alligator, right? Yeah, so this guy actually comes from a really old kind of group of reptiles called the Razookians. They are so old, they lived before the dinosaurs. They're really old. And this guy's name is Plesiosaurs. And so he looks a lot like a crocodile today, except his legs are longer, so he's probably a lot faster than crocodiles today. We actually think this guy could have galloped like a horse. It's kind of scary, right? A crocodile galloping.
But that must have been like 30 miles an hour.
I don't know about 30, probably closer to 20 minutes. But yeah, this guy lived before the dinosaurs.
Ankylosaurus has those spiky armor on its back except for its body.
But this is not an Ankylosaurus. This is an animal that lived way after the dinosaurs and actually lived with some early humans. This is an armadillo relative named Homacina.
Homacina.
So he lived during the Ice Age. So he lived alongside saber-toothed tigers and woolly mammoths and terror birds and all sorts of crazy cool
And the
animals, but
giant
not
sloth.
the dinosaurs. He
The
lived after the dinosaurs.
It's really teeny.
He's pretty small, but modern day armadillos are even smaller. But this guy, just like armadillos today, could roll up in a ball.
And you see this dinosaur? It has a long tail that's very teeny.
Yes, Plesiosaurus has a very long tail. We have another Pteranodon up here. This is Pteranodon longiceps. That's the boy, that's the girl, and another girl. Now, if you look at this girl over here, I'm going to show you something cool about their wings. But first, how many toes does she have?
1, 2, 3, 4 toes.
She has 4, right?
Yeah, she has
How many fingers does she have?
1, 2, 1 finger.
1, 2, 3, right? You see those 3?
fingers.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
even 3 there.
Mm-hmm.
So these two things, so on the front of here, they have 6 fingers.
In total? Well, what if I told you on each hand she actually has 4 fingers? Now, can you find the 4th finger?
4th finger.
You think it's this little thing?
Yeah.
What if I told you it's actually this entire thing? This whole thing is a pinky finger.
Well, that's longer than all the toes.
It's longer than all of them, yeah. That's because if you look at this life restoration, do you see at the very tip of the wing, at the end of the pinky finger, skin would connect all the way to the ankle so that they could spread their arms out and fly.
This died, but still has its color.
That's a life restoration. That just means that's what we think they might have looked like. But we don't know for sure.
That's a girl.
Girl, boy. In pterosaurs, the boys are usually bigger, but in dinosaurs, the girls are usually bigger. No, they're sliced up tires. They're not that impressive. I mean, you can, but just don't throw them anywhere, please.
I just put them back on.
Yeah, you don't need to mess with them. They're not that messy. And one last thing. Oh, do you have a question?
Yeah, why do they fold up? Like, why does the pinky finger fold up?
Because if they had it out to the side, then she wouldn't be able to walk around as easily because she'd be bumping into things with her pinky fingers. So she folds them back so she can walk through stuff.
Just like bats now.
We have pictures of these fossils. Not all of them. My school.
One last thing before we move on, it's these. Now these do not touch them. These are original fossils. So this is from a Triceratops. These are the hip bones of a Triceratops. So you see the hips there. This Triceratops would be laying on his back, and his tail would go out that way, and his head. Please don't touch that. And his head would be way out over there. We don't want to touch original fossils like this. There's some that you can touch, and I'll let you know which ones you can. But original fossils, if they aren't protected, then the oils from our fingers, as we touch them over time, the fossils will erode and disintegrate, and they'll become nothing. And so once they're gone or they're broken, they'll never be the same again. You can't make more of the original fossils.
The
So that's
next
why it's
generation cannot have this knowledge then.
Exactly.
What
happens if a dinosaur bone was under this museum?
We wouldn't know about it. And it's likely that there are dinosaur bones in this museum, but we don't know. But this Triceratops is really cool, not just because these are original fossils, but because, you see these two holes right here where I'm pointing? Those are bite marks from a T-Rex through the back, which is really crazy. But what's even crazier is that this Triceratops survived those bite marks.
I think I know how.
Well, we don't know. We don't know how exactly, but what we do that does prove is that T-Rex didn't just scavenge.
Yeah,
He went out and he hunted his prey.
Yeah.
You will. So, yeah. Now this Triceratops, he did not get killed by the T-Rex directly, but he did get very sick after he was bitten. Because when looking at his bones, we can find evidence of an infection in his bones. Because T-Rex didn't brush his teeth. So he's got all his nasty bacteria in there, so when he bites in the bone, some of that bacteria gets stuck in the bone and left behind. And so that is what we think killed the Triceratops, was actually getting sick instead of getting bitten.
But how can T-Rex survive all the bacteria when the bacteria goes into its mouth?
Because they aren't in his blood.
Oh.
It's just in his saliva. And sometimes T-Rex probably did get sick from stuff like that. Like if he ate bad meat and that had a lot of like a virus within it. Those are just statues.
Yeah,
They're just for fun. All right, guys, you ready to move back out to the dino room, the main hall?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
The dino room has a lot of dinosaurs.
So
These are real ones.
first dinosaur we'll talk about really quick out here is Plesiosaurs. Oh, excuse me. Plesiosaurus neglectus right here.
Do you just film that and pick them out and put it here?
Yes. So, yeah, that's where Triceratops' brain would have been, right? In that little hole. Not a very big brain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This dinosaur had a super tiny brain. This dinosaur's brain was about the size of a pea. Really, really small. So this dinosaur was not very smart.
Yeah.
And mostly what this dinosaur was there for was to be food for other dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
to
what probably
feed food to other dinosaurs.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but that's Plesiosaurus. What you notice about Plesiosaurus that's cool is he has 5 fingers. Just like us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So he was probably grabbing a lot of stuff, maybe digging through something, cracking something open. Exactly, yeah. So we think this animal is an omnivore. So eating both plants and meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Any
like us.
questions about this one?
So when you look at the teeth, it looks kind of like a raptor teeth.
They're kind of sharp, but not as sharp as the carnivorous dinosaurs.
Yeah.
He's got kind of a mix of flat and sharp teeth, right?
Yeah.
That's another reason we think he's an omnivore. All right.
Carnivores are meat eaters.
Mm-hmm.
And herbivores are
So I already showed you guys this when you first came in here, but here it is again. This is a T-Rex leg bone. This is the real fossil, and you can touch it because we protected it with a clear paint. So the oils from our fingers don't hurt the fossil, but you can still touch it. Pretty cool though, right? That's a piece of the tibia.
But
which
do not make
is the
any
shin bone.
cracks on it.
No, these cracks are just from the fossil being really old. That's not from people.
Yeah, but do not make more cracks.
You don't
on
want to, no. T-Rex, this is a very, very special fossil.
Yeah. But do not make
I'm thinking that this is where the joints connected. Yeah,
This
that's
is the
where the
tibia?
joints connected.
You got it. Good job. And over here, we didn't find the rest of this, but do you see that there?
Yeah.
That's filled in. We filled that in because T-Rex had hollow bones, just like a bird. Because he was so big, he needed to have hollow bones so he wouldn't be crushed under his own weight. Yep, exactly. Yeah. But he had hollow bones. Cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more dinosaurs before we get to T-Rex. This next one here, up here, this is not T-Rex. This is actually Daspletosaurus.
Well,
It looks like
same
T-Rex, right?
size.
This one's about 5 feet smaller than T-Rex. And this one we actually think is the ancestor to Tyrannosaurus Rex. So like the great-great-great-great-great-grandfather of T-Rex. Yeah. But that's Daspletosaurus, and this one's the biggest Daspletosaurus ever discovered.
In the world? Or
In the world. Daspletosaurus only lived in North America, though. Yeah. But still, this was a very important find for us.
In
'cause
Hobby
it's
Lobby,
35 feet long.
in Hobby Lobby, we just found those flying eggs that those dinosaurs inside.
Cool.
what's this one? It's so small.
These ones are cool. Let me give you a hint. Look at that toe.
Meat eater.
What kind of meat eater?
Hmm.
You remember that big guy over there?
Yeah.
Who's 7 times bigger than Velociraptor?
Yeah.
Remember how he had a toe like this?
Yeah.
This is another raptor. This is Bambi Raptor.
Bambi.
This is a really small raptor.
Yeah, it's even smaller than a velociraptor.
It is smaller than Velociraptor. Yeah, these
It
guys
is
were
smaller
really
than
tiny.
you,
Yeah.
Yeah, they look pretty cute. Oh, they would have had, fluffy feathers, but they're cute until they try to eat. Now these guys are the dinosaurs I would not want to meet in real life. I wouldn't want to meet them because would you?
I have
Look at
a
those.
fluffy bird.
Remember how his claws are always longer than what you see here?
Yeah,
See these ones? Can you run 40 miles an hour?
No, but 16.
I gotta run 100
Okay.
hours. I could survive the cold.
Yeah. Well, these guys could run 40 miles an hour, which is faster than any human being could ever run.
They can run about 20, 25, right, humans?
Could they run
Up to
faster
20
than a
is like
train?
Usain Bolt.
Could they run
Yeah.
faster than a train?
So these guys could easily catch any one of us in this museum. And what's even crazier is they probably hunted in packs. So there's about 12 of them. So if one of these guys, if you're able to, I don't know, kick it away or something, there's still 12 more that are going to jump on top of you. Which is really scary to think about. They're also super, super smart.
Wait, then what about the small bird?
It's small, but compared to their body, their brain is really big.
I see dog.
So it's called the brain-to-body size ratio.
How much? So it must identify any topic a human has, right?
But
It would probably be able
but
to
these
hunt
two
it.
tails are.
There would also have been, their feathers would have been made them camouflaged, remember? So the dinosaurs most likely had colors that allowed them to camouflage, so you wouldn't even see them coming.
This guy's
And their wrists and ankles are so flexible, they can move them around just like we can. Most dinosaurs can't do that. Like this Daspletosaurus couldn't move her wrists very much. She could probably do this. But these guys can move them all around. So that means they could climb up trees and jump down on top of them. That's why I'd be scared of these guys, especially because we are the same size as the dinosaurs they would have eaten. Probably, yes. Probably. They could have climbed up rocks.
Well, I'm thinking that these are like the great ancestors of us, since like we have the same brain they do, and like.
Are we reptiles?
No.
These guys are reptiles.
Oh, come on.
No, they are not our ancestors. Closest thing to our ancestor is that otter-like mammal that was sitting over there. That's the closest thing in here to us. Evolutionary. Mammals are warm-blooded, give live birth, and have hair.
Yeah.
Among
And
other
they do
things.
not lay eggs.
And they do not lay eggs. Well, some. Platypus. That's a mammal that lays eggs. So there's a couple exceptions. But for the most part, most mammals do not lay eggs. That's a great piece of an Ankylosaurus right there. That's a piece of his back.
What?
This is one little piece.
What about this part?
Those are some horns to a dinosaur. Those are actually the only piece of that dinosaur we found.
But this one's also a horn of that.
Yep, they're
I
both
could
the
make
two horns to the
another.
same animal.
I could make another quacking sound. That sounds like a duck.
Cool.
Microfossils.
Like,
Wait.
They're so small we can't identify which
I
animal they
could-
belong to.
someone in my class said, "Wait."
Nice.
I'm thinking these look like frogs, crocodiles.
Yep, maybe. But we don't know exactly what
How
kind.
about that bone there?
That's an ulna. The ulna is a piece of your lower arm bone.
Yeah. And there's a little thread there.
Yeah, that's because it was broken when we found it. We had to put it back together. All right, you guys ready to talk about T-Rex?
Yes.
Then let's do that.
T-Rex right there.
Yep, there he is. It's hard to miss.
That's hard to hey.
He's 40 feet long from head to tail. This guy's nickname is Stan. He's the third biggest T-Rex ever discovered.
In the world, right?
In the entire world. Yep.
And
He was a really, really tough dinosaur. We know that from
this
looking at his
bigger
bones,
than
and
the
some of
one
them had
outside.
broken and then had healed. So a piece of his tailbone, a little piece sticking out below, the fourth one back. So counting starting here,
They're
1, 2, 3, 4.
crap
That fourth one, that one had actually broken and then healed. So he got in a fight, well, he hurt himself somehow, and he survived. Same thing with a couple of his ribs. A piece of his neck actually shattered, but he survived. And the coolest thing of all is that he had a hole in his head, on the top, called a puncture wound. Now, what could put a hole in a T-Rex's head? What do you think?
I'm thinking like Triceratops.
Maybe, but this was too small to be a Triceratops.
Dinosaur.
What dinosaur is as big as T-Rex? Another T-Rex.
That one.
That one lived before T-Rex. We think another T-Rex actually bit Stan in his skull.
But
And
how
that's
did
what
he survive that?
We don't know. It's likely that he only survived for a little bit of time afterwards, and then eventually his injuries got so bad that that's what killed him. But he did get into a fight with another T-Rex and walked away for some time. No, those are raptors.
Yumi, what question did you have? You raised your
Yeah,
hand.
what's...
So they I know how they survived. So because their water is very hard, like these are. They get very hard, but not hard as these guys.
Okay, yes.
Those
That's
guys
correct.
didn't survive until now either. The raptors are extinct, and so is the Tyrannosaurs. What's up?
I'm thinking that how he survived is because because his the dinosaur bit him in the flesh, not the bones.
He bit him in his brain.
Brain?
Here's a T-Rex brain case.
That must have
The brain fits in this entire area here.
Oh, you mean
That
this
must
is a
have
brain
been-
case?
he must have been like he must have been like
I saw someone had
yeah.
had a
Probably. He's
squash
probably
bone
hurting a
case.
lot.
Someone had a squash phone case. Where you could store your phone inside, and whenever someone else opens it and watch it, and they wake up and they do something quickly, and then they like grab it and put a stick and trot it all and trot the screen. Then those stuff will come on, and then they're gonna be like a then they'll get shooted by a tons of bullets, but not real bullets.
Wow, that's intense.
like some just like the same stuff hard plastic is made out of. I'm thinking like that's what made like this cases for the bone.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, the field jacket's plaster. Yeah. So here's something. I don't know if you hold this. This is a cast or a copy of a T-Rex tooth. When you hold this, go like that to your hand. Not super hard, just enough to feel it. Is it sharp? Is it super sharp?
No,
No, it's not sharp. T-Rex didn't have sharp teeth. T-Rex had very, very thick cone-shaped teeth for puncturing and crushing his prey.
Yeah. I need even
Because they had a crazy bite force. Their bite force
Yumi, that's a
was
T-Rex's.
roughly, could get up to
tooth.
5 times stronger than a car crusher. 5 times as strong.
You mean like 5 car crushers?
Yes, like the force of all that. 10,000 pounds per square inch. They have had potentially a really, really strong bite force. And that bite force is the reason why those arms are so tiny. So T-Rex has really tiny arms. You can't really do anything with them. That's because he doesn't use them. He doesn't need them. He has those big jaws to crush stuff. So,
And so
that's just flesh in the mouth. You can see that in some reptiles, yeah. And I don't know why it's blue. I guess that's just what the artist wanted.
And this one's black.
Yes.
But this one is a color chicken.
So that's the
You
red.
can color dinosaur any color.
Yeah, it can be any color.
Any color you want because no one can tell you you're wrong. Any questions about T-Rex here?
So, what made T-Rex such a big thing?
Why is he so big?
And why does he lay such small eggs?
His eggs are about the size of footballs. They're not super small. They're small because if they were any bigger, they'd probably hurt guys. But T-Rex got really big because, well, T-Rex's ancestor, the earliest ancestor to T-Rex that we know of, is about that tall. He's really tiny. But they grow up and they get bigger and bigger because their prey got larger. So as the hold on, I'm explaining something. I promise I'll answer your question. Okay? Can you wait just a moment? Cool.
He loses part of his question.
So as the animals that T-Rex ate got bigger, T-Rex got bigger so that he could compete with other dinosaurs for those
Yuri.
big animals.
Yuri, what's your question?
What's your question?
So, do you like the cat?
Do I like what?
The cat. It has a tons of colors all around.
I do like your hat. That's pretty cool.
And that's it's not my hat, it's my brother's.
Oh yeah, well I like it.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
my
nice
brother
color.
got me.
One question about Velociraptors.
Yeah.
If Velociraptors were meat eaters, then that must have been their prey. Prey must have been this small.
The prey was pretty small.
Yeah.
We found, so there's a very special fossil of a velociraptor and a dinosaur called a Protoceratops that actually died while they were fighting each other. And so they're preserved fighting each other. And the Protoceratops is about this tall. And so velociraptor, because they're so small, they probably have to work together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What's your question?
So, is this play or something?
That we filled that white stuff, that we put in there. We put that in because T-Rex has hollow bones. So when this dinosaur was alive, there wouldn't have been that stuff in there. It would have had hollow bones.
Yeah.
We just had to fill it in because we used to have it hollow, but then people started sticking trash in there.
Yeah.
That was not
Is
very fun to
this
clean up.
clay?
No, it's probably plastic of some kind.
Yeah, we have clay at our home.
Clay's fun. So one last dinosaur in here before we move on.
It looks so wet because my brother made it so wet.
Nice.
By the water.
This dinosaur, Pachycephalosaurus.
Yes.
These are the dome-headed dinosaurs. They got 6 to 8 inches of pure bone on top of their skulls. And oftentimes you'll see them in a lot of pictures or artwork. A lot of artwork. You'll see them hitting heads with each other. But we don't actually think they did that. And the reason we don't think that is because their
They hit
necks
their
weren't
heads.
strong enough to
They
hit
they
heads.
hit
If they
their
tried to
heads
do that,
They hit their head on other dinosaurs because their head is spiky.
exactly, they didn't hit each other. They hit other dinosaurs. Like, say, a large raptor, if they hit him in the ribs, that's going to hurt a lot, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably what they use that dome for. They probably didn't hit each other in the heads. Does that make sense?
And this thing is like coming off.
Yeah, I know. Please don't peel it off, though. Just leave it alone.
Like, so. Wait. I forgot.
That's okay. If it comes back to you, just raise your hand. So 2 more original dinosaur fossils you can touch. This here is a humerus, or upper arm bone, to a duck-billed dinosaur named Edmontosaurus. It's the same kind as Little John, except this is from an adult. This is a real fossil.
And I already touched this.
It's pretty cool.
There's even this little knob here.
Yep. And over here is a real Triceratops rib fossil.
Looks like what the grandpa.
It looks like a the coolest walking stick ever. That's what I call it.
dinosaur. It's a
Yeah, that's a
dinosaur
real fossil. Right
edition.
there. Pretty cool, right?
So cool in here. I never met this.
Whose strip is that?
Triceratops. Yeah, here's the picture. So you can see how the rib would have fit in right there.
And that part would have been sticking out there.
All right, guys, we're going to go into our ocean room. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
Okay, now when you walk in here, the first place I'm going to ask you to look is right straight up. Look straight up at this guy.
Is that a
And you can
Megalodon?
follow, that is not a Megalodon. That's a Mosasaur.
Yeah,
So you can follow him from the end of his snout to the tip of his tail way over there.
He looks like sharks.
They're fish.
Do you see how
We
big
have
this
lots and lots of stuff in here, mostly big fish.
If you touch that
That's a really long. What kind of-
This is a mosasaur. That's a
Mosasaur.
marine reptile. This right here is the biggest mosasaur ever discovered. Ever. He's 45 feet long. That's 5 feet longer than our T-Rex.
How big is that?
That's like 45. He's a Tyrannosaurus. His nickname is Bunker.
That's the shark.
That is a
You
shark.
know what is it? What is his nickname?
Bunker.
That's right. Which one is one?
The Mosasaurus.
Mosasaurus.
He's actually a Tylosaurus. He's a kind of mosasaur. A mosasaur is a type of reptile. They have different species. So Mosasaurus is a species of mosasaur. I know, it sounds really confusing. It's kind of crazy. This guy's a Tylosaurus. So here's his sign right here. And he ate whatever he could. He was so big.
Tortoise?
Turtles, yep.
There's even a squid here.
Yep.
There's even fish here.
Yep.
There's fish
Big
here.
fish.
This is an angry one. Here's this one. All the fishes that are here are angry.
Yeah, probably, because Bunker's probably trying to eat them. But you want to see something really cool about mosasaurs?
Yeah.
This right here is an original skull. This is the real fossil that's been put together. Now this is very rare that we do this because they're all fossils aren't so fragile.
You cannot touch it because glass is all over.
Exactly. Then we have glass over there because it's an original. Now, if you look down, if you look at his mouth, you see in the back and the top of his mouth how he has a second pair of teeth? They're really little. Those are called pterygoid teeth. And you can see them in Bunker, too, in the back of his mouth. Do you see it? In the back of his mouth, at the top?
I don't see it due to the darkness.
Yeah, the light might be lit. I should get a laser pointer for that. Yes. But those pterygoid teeth are in all mosasaurs. And that's if a fish gets in Bunker's mouth, and the fish is like, oh no, he tries to swim out, he can't because those teeth hold it in place. Pretty crazy, right?
But that one is British.
This is called Zyphactinus. This is a super, super big fish. This one is 18 and a half feet long. And these are the original fossils. These are the real fossils.
But you should not touch.
No, these do not touch. But yeah, that's Mildred is her nickname. And here's a 3D model of the Zyphactinus. This one right here. Right above me. That's a 3D model. And this is a life restoration. So that's what we think Zyphactinus might have looked like with its skin on. Yes, you can touch that. That's a half of a clamshell.
Do not touch stuff that has that.
Yeah, you got it. And this right here, this is really cool. This is from a really big shark called the Megalodon.
My favorite.
Yeah, and if you want to,
Yui, what
you
is
can
that?
go back.
Yui, what is that?
Megalodon.
Megalodon.
Yeah.
Go.
If you want, you can go back behind it, and you can get like a photo.
Wait, can we touch the teeth?
You don't touch them. Please do not touch. But you can act scared.
But I'm not scared at all.
But you can pretend to be scared.
But I'm
Okay, come on.
Yeah, come back around. I want to show you something cool about Megalodon. So Megalodon was here's his sign right here. Megalodon here was a really, really big shark. He got 60 feet long. That's 20 feet longer than T-Rex.
bigger than this shark.
Yes, that's a tiger shark. It's a really small shark. And this is what he ate.
Whale shark.
No, whales.
Whales.
Megalodon ate whales.
And
And Megalodon lived
scuba
after
divers.
the dinosaurs.
And
He
ate
lived a
scuba
long time
divers.
after the dinosaurs. So he never
He
met
ate
a dinosaur.
Scuba divers too.
That's just there to show you how big he is compared to people. But do you want to see a shark that did eat dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Look on this wall. You see this shark right here? This is what a shark skeleton looks like. Weird, right?
Yeah, what about those, like,
You know what's that?
Those are its backbones.
Well, wait, some pictures.
You can touch that.
Yeah.
This shark is called Cretaceous.
But do not take the teeth out.
And this is the shark that ate dinosaurs because he lived with dinosaurs. And here, you see that X in kind of the European region right there?
Yeah.
That area, we have found duck-billed dinosaur leg bones with teeth and bite marks from this shark in them. Because Europe was a lot of different islands at the time. And so you had dinosaurs that would try to swim from island to island. And so if this shark is swimming around and he sees a dinosaur trying to swim through the water, he's going to go up and jump. Yep. That's Cretaceous.
What is this?
Plesiosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
You want to see our plesiosaur?
These are, so they've been like 5 fish. So there's fish, right?
This is our short-necked plesiosaur. This is Dolly Careencops. Now you look at this guy's fins. You see how they're kind of paddle-like? He has really long fingers.
Yeah.
Now look at the Mosasaurs. They have really short little fins. But they have really long tails. So Mosasaurs would use their long tails to move through the water, while Plesiosaurs would use their
I know there's a turtle right there.
Yes, that's Cheliospargus. That's an adult, and then a baby is the little one right next to it.
Like, so,
They stun it.
Yeah, and then like you can get the right
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. And then our long-necked plesiosaur. See this little one right here with the long neck? That's a baby plesiosaur right there. That's Styxtosaurus. And that's just a baby. The adults could get around 30 feet.
Oh, that's big.
It is big, yeah. But they have really long necks. And you know what's really silly about these long-necked plesiosaurs? Is that when they were first discovered, we thought they looked like that picture right there.
Yeah.
We thought we mixed up their tail and their neck. We switched them. And it was only until a couple years after they were discovered that we realized, oh, we messed up. And we realized they actually had really long necks, really short tails. Instead of the other way around.
there's
Hold
a
on,
killer
right?
whale right there.
Yes, there's an orca.
Only it's a killer whale.
They mean the same thing.
Yeah. What's this one right here?
Those are fossils from a fish called Protospirina. And these are the original fossils here.
You found these. You found this. You found these from the dino room. Yeah. What's that fish thing?
That's called a coelacanth. That's a fish that's alive today. That was also alive 300 million years ago.
Which one?
The bluefish.
Bluefish?
There's even that right there.
Yeah, that's a life restoration of a mosasaur.
It's
That's what I think they might have
look.
looked like. Camouflage in the water.
They are alive.
They are all extinct. So they're all dead. Yeah.
What's this dinosaur right here?
Is that a dinosaur?
Ostrich.
It's an ostrich, yeah. This is kind of like a case that has some animals that are extinct and some that are still alive. What's that?
So you tell which one of them are extinct.
Otters are dinosaurs or reptiles.
Well, they are both, actually. They're birds, which are technically descended from dinosaurs. But if you look at their feet, they only have 2 toes.
Turtles.
They only have 2 toes. It's weird, right?
This
You
must
usually
have
notice
been like a baby.
that
right?
that was a baby, yeah.
You couldn't show like a real life like a real
Mm-mm.
life restoration of an ostrich.
No.
The killer whale, they're shark teeth.
Yep, they do.
What's,
Because they
the-
eat meat.
what's this one like with
Those are pterosaur skulls.
so it used to scoop up fish?
Pterodactyl. It's the same one that I think would have been pink. And there's Dimorphodon, and there's Dorognathus.
What
They've
is
got
that?
kind of funny
Last
teeth.
one.
The skull up there, that's from the porpoise. Porpoises are mammals that live in the water. Yeah, they're really strange. They're kind of related to dolphins, but more like a sea cow, like this skull up here in this picture.
Sea cow. mammal.
It is a wood mammal, but it's not the original. This is a cast or a copy of the mummified one. Please don't touch them, please.
See the tag.
Is
Yeah, it's
is
behind
this like real hair?
No, it is not. Because this is a replica of a mummy mammoth. Now, if we had the actual mummy here, it would stink a lot, and it would start to rot. So the actual one is still in a freezer, really, really far away, so it stays preserved, so we can still study it. But we put fake hair there to show that on the real one, that's where we found real mammoth. Does that make sense? Yes, that's the gift shop. But there's one last part of the museum, you guys, and it's actually around that corner. This one? So you can step up here on this kind of step. You can look into our lab. And this is where we work on all our fossils.
And your posters?
Yeah, I'm not sure where we got those posters. I think they're just for fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where all the the magic happens. Not magic, it's science.
Science.
Yeah.
I love science.
But this is where this area up front is where our Paleo Techs work, and those are the people that either have a degree in paleontology, so they are scientists, or they're studying to become paleontologists, and they're getting experience here. But up front here, this is where they work on restoring the original fossils, which means cleaning off the dirt around them and putting them back together so they're all nice. And then the rest of the lab, which extends all the way back to that wall, and all the way back to that wall, and has a second floor, that's where we make copies of the original fossils.
Like 3D prints?
We do some 3D printing upstairs, but most of the time we do what's called a silicone mold. So we get an original fossil, we clean it up a lot, and we want to make an exact copy of it. We pour something that's kind of like a rubber silicone over it, and it hardens, and we're able to peel it off. We take the original fossil out, and so then we get a little hole kind of in the middle that's shaped exactly like the real fossil, and then we're able to fill that with a resin or a kind of tough plastic that hardens. We put it back together, and then we can paint it. And it looks exactly like the original fossil. So then we can sell it to a museum or university on the other side of the world. So a dinosaur that we found, we can show to a lot of different people, and the original one can be kept safe and actually be studied. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, we just went to a train doesn't mean we get to miss a purpose. And this is where we make fossils.
This is where we make casts of fossils. We find fossils. Every summer we go out to Montana, South Dakota, Kansas. We go out and we spend the summer.
It's
Not
fossil.
quite that far. But we go out and we find fossils and we bring them back here. Yeah.
So you're closed on the summer to find new ones?
We're not closed in the summer, no, but our Paleo Techs, the people who clean up fossils, in the summer they go out looking for fossils. In the winter they bring them back and they clean them up. They're just not here today because they take their weekends as breaks. But if you come back on a weekday ever, they'll probably be here.
And we can say hi?
Yeah,
There are even peckers in there.
you could try. They'll probably be hard at work. That's a fish. That's a cast of a fish fossil up there.
What about this one?
Right here. You see it?
Hey, this is where you paint it, right?
Yeah. So right now we're working on a copy of a Tyrannosaurus Rex Skull right there.
Oh,
And
you
so,
know,
yeah.
there?
So all we have to do is paint that so it's the exact same color as the original, and then we'll send it off to whoever ordered a T-Rex skull.
That must have cost like $500 million.
Not that much, but closer to probably $50,000. Yeah. Well, maybe not that much. Still. But that T-Rex skull was a very important skull. That was a 100% complete skull. We didn't find anything else in the body.
Are these the original fossils?
Those are originals, yep. Those are to that Pterosaurus. Remember the one with 5 fingers? These are the hips to an adult, and then the leg and foot.
Okay, gotcha.
We got some Pterosaur Wings here. And then the rest of that Triceratops that got bitten by a T-Rex, they got really sick. These are more of his bones. But then that's the...
There are even the green dots there.